Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video I'm going to give my honest review of this year's Survivor Series War Games. And it's safe to say that this show has had mixed reviews, to say the least. A lot of people have loved it, a lot of people have hated it, some people are somewhere in between. So my question to you, the viewers, the subscribers, what did you think about the show? Get down in the comment section, share your thoughts and opinions. One thing I loved about this show was of course the opening matchup. The women's War Games matchup delivered. It was fire, it deserved the "this is awesome" chance. It really did. And I think one person that really shone in this matchup was Nikki Cross. Like, they really sold her new crazed character. She got a high spot where she jumped off the cage. I love the interaction between her and Bliss, saying to Bliss, look, I haven't forgotten about what you did, essentially. She tried to handcuff her to the cage. Bliss kind of reversed that and handcuffed the two together. So we're definitely getting a feud there between those two seemingly, which I reckon ultimately down the line will pay off in those two aligning together and being some crazed tag team. I'm down for that. Oh, of course you can't rule out Uncle Howdy and all those shenanigans. Of course, Bianca looks strong like she always does. I love the bit where she snapped the kendo stick. And there was a point where I thought she was literally going to be Super Cena-esque, where she was about to powerbomb. It looked like she was about to powerbomb the entire women's roster. I thought maybe that's going a little bit too far. Rhea looked good, she always does. Io Sky looked good. I thought Dakota Kai looked quite good in the ring. There were a few botches. I won't draw on the negative there. But positives are, likely down the line, we're going to get Io Sky versus Asuka in a matchup. Bayley versus Becky, seemingly teased. Of course, going back to the 4 horsewomen, kind of makes sense. And then Rhea versus Bianca, please, 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 fingers crossed we get that. And of course, Alexa versus Nikki, maybe. Who knows? But overall, I wasn't massively against Becky jumping off the ring with a leg drop and getting the victory for Team Bianca, because then we can close the chapter on this Damage Control versus Bianca shenanigans and move on. And hopefully we can peel Alexa Bliss away from this with a new character down the line. And we can just move on. But overall, a really, really solid match. Now, next up, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. I feel sorry for these two. They should have just had a 6-man tag. Is anyone thinking the same thing? The OC versus the Judgment Day. Rhea and Mia Yim were already in the matchup in the women's War Games matchup. You could have the guys fight it out in a 6-man tag. Instead, we got AJ versus Finn Balor in what was a great match, but after the women's match. So the crowd was a little bit flat. Now, I'm absolutely chuffed, thrilled that AJ Styles got the victory. His first PLE victory since 2019, I believe, and it's good to see AJ Styles actually get a win. I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. He's kind of been in the wilderness for a while, isn't he? So hopefully good things moving forward. And the same for Finn Balor as well. This isn't going to damage him too much. This was a prediction I got wrong though. I must admit, I did think they were going to go with Finn for the win. AJ for the win, I'm never going to complain about that. Now moving on to something very briefly. Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And the odds were highly favouring Ronda Rousey to retain. And of course that was the case. It was a very short match. I did love the fact that Shotzi got a cool moment off the barricade where she sort of tumbled into Shayna Baszler, Ronda and crowd members. I thought that was quite cool. Does anyone rate Shotzi as much as I am? Am I bigging her up too much? I really like Shotzi. It's definitely a guilty pleasure seeing her come out with that tank. Like, I miss that. I'm glad that's back. You got to assume down the line maybe they tease. Well, I think down the line, to be honest with you, you probably have Ronda and Shayna in a tag team down the line. They could tease those two in a matchup. We could get Raquel versus Ronda in the next matchup. But let's face it, this is all going to lead to Becky versus Ronda at WrestleMania 39. I'm sure of it. But in the end, of course, Ronda getting the convincing victory and Shotzi tapping out. Another person, another woman fed to Ronda Rousey, and it is lacking in star power, isn't it? Baby faces on the SmackDown side. So maybe we'll see some changes potentially moving forward there to give it some much needed life. Next up, talk about a match that I loved. The triple threat match for the United States title. Lashley versus Rollins versus Theory. And I honestly believed the only way they could get out of this was for Rollins to win. But I didn't think about the obvious that was staring me in the face. Look, all of them really strong, like they did. They all got strong showings. They're definitely selling this Theory push, that he's more serious now. He's dropped the selfie gimmick. big things moving forward. He literally is the now. And I liked that they all got their moments. I didn't think about the obvious, that Bobby Lashley could hit a signature move on Seth Rollins and then Theory could pick up the scraps. What a great way to protect Rollins and Lashley, but also give Theory that much needed win. He of course had the most failed Money in the Bank cash in of all time, it seems, but now he's got the payoff. Now he's laughing, and just give that guy a lengthy run with the United States title. I did think they were going to wait a little bit longer till they did that, but no, they're pulling the trigger on that. And of course now that frees up Seth freaking Rollins. I was loving the finish, the fact that Seth Rollins was about to go for the Falcon Arrow and Bobby Lashley speared Seth Rollins, and Theory picked up those scraps, got the victory. He is the new United States champion. That was a prediction again I got wrong. I thought they were going to go with Seth Rollins to retain like a lot of us thought, but I'm all down for this Theory push. He means business. Now next up, of course, the main event, the main course, and I do believe maybe Bray and others were pulled from this show because the main focus was on the dynamic between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And I have to be honest with you, this is top-notch TV. Storytelling at its absolute finest. But does anyone think that this is going to be the image going forward? I saw that on social media and it made me chuckle. The Bloodline are now stronger than ever. They did tease the fact that maybe Roman Reigns might turn on Sami Zayn, or maybe even turn on Jey Uso, because Jey Uso is obviously questioning Sami Zayn's alliance to the Bloodline because he was having a conversation with Kevin Owens. And it was kind of this, like Roman Reigns is the dad, like getting in the middle of the two naughty kids and trying to sort things out. And there was this huge tease, like, was Sami Zayn going to side with Kevin Owens or the Bloodline? Now, I was pretty convinced the Bloodline were going to get the victory here. But one thing this match did tease was a lot of future matchups. I'd love to see, sign me up, for Solo Sikoa versus Drew McIntyre. It makes sense after Solo Sikoa costing Drew McIntyre his match against Roman Reigns when I was there at Clash at the Castle, so that's a matchup in the making. And surely Kevin Owens is going to get another shot at Roman Reigns. You could also have Sheamus get a shot at Roman Reigns. And of course, down the line, you could have Seth freaking Rollins versus Roman Reigns at some point in the rematch that Seth Rollins deserves. Now he doesn't have the United States title. So I'm all down for those matchups. I thought it was a strong showing again from all performers. Of course, even through the matchup, they teased the fact that maybe Jey might attack Sami. He kind of did. He kind of super kicked him during the match. But of course, Sami Zayn pledged his alliance to the Bloodline. I thought it was great storytelling. The fact that you thought that KO was going to get the victory against Roman, and he was after a stunner. And then Sami Zayn stopped the pin and then hit a low blow on Kevin Owens. And then a vicious haluva kick in the corner. And then, of course, Jey Uso picked up the scraps, got the victory, and embraced Sami Zayn at the end of the matchup. This was top-notch. I thought this match delivered. I think other than the Kevin Owens sort of focused dynamic on him and Sami Zayn, maybe a few of the others got left in the background a little bit. It was a very weak reception for the Brawling Brutes, I must admit. But then, to be honest, that's only because the Bloodline are so strong. The Bloodline are so over. The fans are feeling Usi. The Bloodline are feeling Usi. And this is just going to go on and on. What did you think of the show? I thought overall it was all right. I'm going to give it a C+. I think that's where it deserves to be. It's a decent show. Obviously, there were things I was disappointed with. Of course, the whole Bray Wyatt thing. You've got to think he was left off the show because of this left knee. He's been wearing a brace lately. Of course, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that in the Hangman game, that was the leg that was missing. So maybe this is a storyline work. I don't think so. I think there were some changes last minute, and the decision was to focus on this Bloodline storyline arc, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And also, it gives us something to look forward to. It's a slow build, it's a slow move with this storyline involving Bray, and that's the way it should be, and then you can pay it off at Rumble or a Mania. One thing I do want to wrap up with on this video is in the new year, there will be a new series coming to this channel, and we are going to review all the major shows. So Raw, SmackDown, NXT even we're going to look at as well, and of course all the premium live events. So that's something to look forward to. There's going to be a few changes coming to the channel in the new year, so excited to bring that to you. But I want to say thank you so much for your support so far. It means the world. As always, be really appreciative if you could like this video, share this video, and even better, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.